holiday weight loss maintenance tips on WW's personal points plan, plus a bonus. Today on Meema McLiving Healthy. Stay tuned. Hello. As I stated in my intro, today's topic is holiday weight loss maintenance tips on WW's personal points plan. Plus, I'm going to have a bonus tip. Now today I'll be talking about 5 tips, and once I get through with all those 5 tips, I'll have a bonus tip that will tie all of them in together. So stay tuned for all tips. They're things that I have used over the holidays, things that I try to use over the holidays, and things that are now I'm going to try to use for these specific holidays. I'm going to be looking at a list, so the glasses have to come out today. I can't remember everything that I need to say, and I feel like this is so important that I don't want to get them wrong or get them mixed up. So I'm going to have my glasses on. Hope that's all right. Before I get started, though, I do want to do all the commercials and say if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Press the notification bell so that you will get all my videos. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Comment below and let me know what you like or what maybe you don't like about this video. What you think is too simple or too hard to live by. And then finally, if you think anyone else would learn from any of the videos that I make, please share. Okay, let's go on with these 5 tips. Plus a bonus. Tip number 1. Choose a plan and stay focused on it. I am on Weight Watchers, so that's my plan, to try to stay close to what my daily points are. I know that I will probably have to use some of my weekly points for these holiday meals, but my original goal is to stay on plan and to stay focused about being on plan. Now, if you're not on Weight Watchers, if you're on a low-calorie weight loss program or keto or low carb, then whatever your program is, make a plan to be successful on it. You know, and then if you're only thinking about it 50% of the time, if you're only using that plan 50% of the time, you are 50% successful. Which, if you have no plan, if you are unfocused or have no focus, then you won't have any success. You'll find yourself eating the way that you always did. And that's just not a good idea. I mean, at least have some kind of plan before you sit down to eat. One of the plans that I've been using that you can't use for Thanksgiving because it's too soon, but you can. We've still got a month before Christmas, so you can utilize this part of the plan that I've been using since probably September. I specifically tried to lose an extra 4 to 5 pounds so that I would have a cushion. Now, if you're always on weight loss mode, then you can't use this. But if you're on maintenance like I am, try to lose a cushion. Just a few pounds that if you put some weight on during the holidays, it's okay. Because you allowed for that. You allotted those extra pounds earlier in the fall. That was number 1. Choose a plan and stay focused on it. Number 2, use your 0 personal point foods to your advantage. or whatever program you're on. You know, like I said in tip number 1, if you're not on Weight Watchers and you're on low calorie or you're on low carb, choose foods that are that way. Either low calorie foods and eat some of those to help you get through these meals, or low carb foods that will help you get through these meals. With low carb, normally meats or proteins are some of your best choices. If you are on low calorie, it has a whole lot in common with Weight Watchers. Bulk up with vegetables. I plan on making 0-point foods like my green beans, where I know what's in them, and corn. I did want to say something. I did retake my assessment. As I shared with y'all last week, eggs and no-fat plain Greek yogurt were no longer 0 personal point foods for me. So I did retake my assessment, and they are 0 point. I use a lot of eggs during the holidays. And so for me, I needed that to be 0 personal points. One of the things that is no longer 0 is white and sweet potatoes. I found that I really need to be held accountable to those, and so they need to have points. It was an easy swap for me. I still am going to eat potatoes, maybe not for holiday meals, but I will eat potatoes, but they're going to have points to it. Now, I didn't mean to get off the subject, but that is how I'm using the 0 point foods for me. Eggs are now 0 points. I also plan on making a dessert that has the plain, fat-free Greek yogurt in it. And now it'll be 0 instead of me having to count it as, I believe it was 2 points for a cup. May have been a little bit more than that. May have been 3. I'm not sure. But now it's going to be 0. So that was number 2. Use the 0 points to your advantage. Number 3. Pick 2 or 3 foods, not 6, to enjoy for these holiday meals that you and I will be eating. Now, don't pick those 2 or 3 foods to eat every day. Pick them for your specific holiday meals like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. I have 3 foods that specifically for Thanksgiving that I really enjoy. In the South, we make dressing. In the North, I think you probably call it stuffing, and you put it inside the bird or whatever. Well, in the South, we make it as a side. It's basically cornbread and other things mixed together. I add at least 2 and probably 3 boneless, skinless chicken breasts that have been stewed in with it. So mine is actually called chicken and dressing. I will, for Thanksgiving especially, I will eat probably a 3 by 3 inch square amount of it. Now, it is heavy laden in points. I'm not gonna try to fool you that it's not. It probably will have that 3 by 3 inch square will probably have 12 points in it. But I'm gonna eat that 3 by 3 inch square. You know, there were a couple of years early on when I was on Weight Watchers that I didn't eat it. And I was preparing it. And I found that those years I was not very successful. And it's because I felt like I had deprived myself. That's one thing I have learned over the years. That if I begin to feel deprived, I will eat too much. I will find my mind changing over into feeling sorry for myself and I'll end up eating too much. The dressing, chicken and dressing, is one of my favorites that I will pick to eat once during the Thanksgiving holidays and possibly once during Christmas also. Now, the second food that goes along with the chicken and dressing for me is giblet gravy. It too has probably at least, for a couple of tablespoons, it's probably at least 3 to 4 points. And it's got something similar to cream of chicken soup in it, giblets from the chicken that are dark meat, and some chicken broth, and they add points to that giblet gravy, but I put that on there. And then the third thing that I eat that's heavy laden in points is a jellied cranberry sauce. To me, all three of those go together. Now, I do not eat a large amount of the cranberry sauce because it is very high in points. I looked it up this morning, and for 1/4 of a cup of that, it is 7 personal points. So I'm not going to be eating 1/4 of a cup, but I can eat 1/8 of a cup, and it's 4 personal points. So I will be eating that. Now, if you add all that up, that is somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 points for one meal. So I know that I can't do that every time I sit down to eat. I also add those, I utilize the 0 personal point foods, like I said earlier, green beans, whole kernel corn. So I'll be eating that along with the 3 things I just mentioned. But you pick those 3 things that you really want to have, be it mashed potatoes or potato salad, or if you want to pick dessert, a specific dessert that you know is heavy laden in points, do it. But be aware of what you're spending. If you're doing calories and all of a sudden you eat a dessert that's 1,000 calories, be aware that you're eating that. Same way with keto or low carb. Any kind of sweet is going to have a lot of carbs in it, or breads are going to have a lot of carbs in it. That was number 3, though. Pick 2 or 3 foods to enjoy. Number 4, utilize the small plate method. Now, I know when I just said that, some of you probably have a pretty big smile on your face. You may even be laughing a little bit. But hear me out. There is something to that. Right to begin with, when I started Weight Watchers, I never utilized the small plate method. And so I would, because I was halving my portion sizes, I would have a plate that it looked like there was nothing on it. And so my mind thought, I need to eat more. I'm not eating enough. Now, this was when I first started Weight Watchers, and early on I realized, okay, if I will get a large salad plate or something like that, then I'll do a lot better, because my mind sees what I'm eating, and if it's on a smaller plate, I do better. Go figure, but I do. I'm going to try to put up a picture right here so that you can see what I'm talking about. The plate that I use all the time. Sorry, got to reach back here for just a moment. That's another thing is, we used to always use fine china and all that kind of stuff when we cooked, and I don't do that anymore. We eat off paper plates. I found out that's okay. And this is the plate that I eat off of most of the time. It's, I want to say, an 8-inch in diameter plate instead of a 10-inch or 10.5-inch diameter plate. I eat off the smaller plate. My Olay wrap fits on that perfectly. I prepare it, I roll it up, and you'll see in the picture about, it's a typical lunch, the picture I'm going to put up. Now, for Thanksgiving, I also found this little dessert bowl that I may use, but this is still just a little bit bigger, so I'll probably use this for Thanksgiving. And I even utilize smaller bowls. I found that this bowl holds quite a bit, and this bowl holds twice as much. And so if I'm having something like a dessert, I won't use this. I'll use this, and my mind thinks I'm having enough, because I meant to get this out first and I didn't, but I will show you this. This is what I have bought for everyone else to eat off of. This is what I will be eating off of. And I have in the past even gotten something. I mean, this is so big I have to just almost get out of the picture. But it shows you what I was eating off of, and now I'm going to be eating off of this. So I don't feel the least bit deprived, because like I said earlier, I don't need to feel deprived or I will find myself overeating. So, number 4, utilize the small plate method. It's worked for me for years, and I really think that it can work for you too. Now, number 5, do not go back for seconds and leave the table when it becomes possible. About 5 years ago, we started doing something. When we first sit down at the table, I announce that we're going to say one thing that we're thankful for, particularly for this year maybe, but it can be something we're thankful for every year. But I want everyone to think about that. That's what Thanksgiving is about. So the reason I'm even saying that is we don't leave the table right after we get through eating, because I wait until everyone is through eating, or at least they've got their dessert, before we start going around the table. So for Thanksgiving in particular, it's not convenient for me to get up and leave quickly. All the other meals, though, I do. I don't dwell at the table and sit at the table and watch everybody else eating. I get up, I start cleaning, I start loading up the dishwasher. Even though we're eating off of paper plates, we still have a lot of dishes and a lot of silverware. But that is one of the most important aspects of holiday meals, is not going back for seconds. Because I'm not going to lie, I'm tempted like everybody else. So I have to say to myself, get what I want to eat when I'm getting the food. Don't just get a little bit. Get what I'm gonna eat for the meal. That was the first 5. Now I have my bonus tip. And my bonus tip basically blends all 5 of these together, and you'll understand when I say it. It's very important, and it's something that I've been able to practice for a long time, not just in eating, but in a lot of things. But the bonus tip is, make a promise to yourself and write it down. And then put it in a place where you'll see it often. Like either your refrigerator, or for me, I have a tendency to put whatever I want to see a lot on my bathroom mirror. I'll put a picture right here sort of showing you one of the things I've got on my bathroom mirror right now. When I place things like my to-do list or bills or scriptures or promises to myself in a prominent area that I'm going to look at often, I have a much better chance of success. You know, if you make a list and you put it away somewhere, you're not going to see it. So you need to see what you've made a promise to yourself. I make promises to other people often, and I try my best to keep them. So why not make a promise to myself and try to keep it too. And the best way to remember what that promise is, I can list all 5 tips that I've just shared with you, and then I'll see them each time I begin to get in the refrigerator, or whenever I'm putting my makeup on, or brushing my teeth, or whatever. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.